A violent crime rampage carried out by a gang of African teenagers has left 2 men in hospital. It began when a family was threatened with baseball bats while garden pickets were used to unleash mayhem at a McDonald's.
A Taylors Hill family, the latest victims of teenage African gangs.
These young offenders, they want to be outside of society. They're attracted to being, so-called gangsters.
They were asleep when 4 teenagers armed with baseball bats and crowbars smashed through the windows at around 1 a.m. CCTV shows them being dropped off just before their crime spree. A 61-year-old and 22-year-old man put up a fight, taken to hospital with head injuries, where they released this statement saying, "Just because you were in a house with locked doors, it doesn't mean you're safe. That sound of the crowbar breaking through the window, I have never felt that feeling of shock."
I'm very shaken by it. Only being in the area for such a short time, we sort of question, have we picked the right area?
The gang stole a mobile phone and the family's blue Honda Civic sedan, which matched the description of a getaway car used in a violent armed robbery just hours later at a McDonald's in Essendon. In that rampage, 5 African teenagers used garden stakes to smash the store's windows and computers, all for an employee's debit card and a small amount of cash.
They're not doing this to become rich, are they really? What motivates these young people to commit these offences, it just beggars belief.
This crime spree comes almost 7 weeks after a community task force was set up to help deal with the issue, which in just 4 hours claimed more than a dozen new victims. Tegan Dolling, 7 News.
2 men have been bashed with baseball bats and crowbars after a gang of thieves described as African in appearance stormed a Taylors Hill home. After stealing the victim's car, detectives believe the same culprits terrorised staff at an Essendon McDonald's. Neri Tai reports.
The aftermath of a terrifying home invasion, smashed glass, broken doors and a phone ripped from the wall.
Scary, very scary. I feel very sorry for him. Doesn't deserve this. No one deserves this.
4 teenagers described as African in appearance stormed the exhibition parade home around 1 a.m. Masked and wearing gloves, they broke in through a window before using baseball bats and crowbars to bash a father and son.
What have those poor people done? They work, they keep to themselves.
2 men aged 61 and 22 sustained head injuries and are now recovering at Footscray Hospital. One victim told 9 News, "Just because you are in a house with locked doors, it doesn't mean you are safe. We want people to know this can happen to anyone." 5 others inside the Taylors Hill home were unharmed. The thugs stole a mobile phone before taking off in a blue 2010 Honda Civic sedan, similar to this one with registration XRD 495.
These young offenders feel like they are outlaws. They want to be outside of society. They're attracted to being, so-called gangsters.
Police are investigating whether the same offenders struck this McDonald's here in Essendon. They smashed their way inside around 5 o'clock this morning. Arriving in a similar vehicle, the thieves armed with garden stakes damaged computers before taking cash, a staff member's mobile phone and debit card. While police admit the level of violence is worrying, it's hoped a new community task force set up to tackle youth crime will reduce offending.
I think they're just angry at life, being excluded from what they seem as mainstream society.
It makes you want to get a gun and protect yourself. It's just horrible. It's horrible.
Neri Tai, 9 News.